There comes a moment in your life when you start recognizing that you've been chasing a dream. And that dream, you may have been pretty successful at it. You've got that car, you've got that person, you've got the kids, you've got the schools, you've got the right home, you've got all that stuff. And yet at the same time, it seems as though you keep chasing and chasing. And every time you grab something and get something that really was on your list, your bucket list, you discover that, yeah, it did make you feel good for a while. But then it creeps back in and there has to be more, there has to be more, there has to be more, there has to be more. That's why you keep chasing. Now, for our primitive ancestors, that chasing, that keep moving forward, that was all about expansion. That was all about finding new places to live, to have lives in. And the population was expanding. You had to expand. You had to go move forward. You had to chase that dream. Yet at the same time, it's very clear that only a certain amount of money really matters with whether or not you are living a deeply peaceful, wonderful life. Once you get past that threshold, money has very little to do with it. And yet, clearly I've worked with people who were very wealthy, and yet at the same time, is they wanted to become a billionaire. And when asked why, he says, because I'll be happy then. No, the truth is, the more you want, the more you have, the more you want. And it works that way. So the deal is, a lot of times when you're chasing that dream, it's not even our dream. Okay? Think about that. You and I, all of us, are born into a family of origin. And they have dreams, they have aspirations. Like in my own case, my mother was a very frustrated nurse because she wanted to be a doctor, but her parents wouldn't let her be because good ladies of the South at that time weren't allowed. So what happened is she was living vicariously through me, wanting me to become an MD. And I came to the moment where I was accepted to medical school, but then I realized something. I didn't like doctors particularly. I didn't like being around sick people, and I didn't like hospitals. And I'm going, what am I doing? What am I doing? I had not been living my dream. I had been living someone else's dream. But I was chasing it. You know, pre-med is a difficult course of action to take in college. You've got a lot of organic chemistry. You have a lot of things that you have to really commit yourself to. And yet, after all that, I said, oh my God. Now, out of that, my parents were very disappointed, but I felt alive for the first time. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a little scared. And then I ended up in art school. I ended up as a photographer, and my life kept growing. But what happened is that I was no longer following the money. I was no longer following history. I began to follow my own heart. And what I'm asking for you is, you know, when you're chasing this dream and you've accumulated stuff, when is enough? And also, is it really making you happy? Understand, happy is actually an emotional program that fires when you accomplish a goal, and it gives you a nice little boop of dopamine. Okay? But it's very transitory. It doesn't last long. Before you know it, you have to go find another goal, another thing to accomplish to feel that way. And you keep building and building. Your whole life is about setting goals in front of you that you can accomplish and feel that good. You're chasing the dream. But what happens if something else goes on? What if you're sitting there going, you know something? Is this really making me happy? Is it giving me the sense of fulfillment that I'm actually seeking as a human being? Something that is a peace beyond all understanding. Peace. Where whatever happens, it's going to be okay. You have faith, you have trust that life is really on your side. And that as long as you don't go against the grain, just do something really foolish, it's going to give you an abundant life. What if you came to believe that and saying, I need to learn to live in relationship with life. I need to start seeing that I am looking at creation every day with my eyes. Now, how we interpret that, but what if you begin to say, gosh, I am sitting here, I am conscious stardust. I am life's longing for itself. What if you begin to see that is that, wow, we are already there. All we have to do is stop, change the observer that we are, and begin to see with new eyes. And what we discover is we're right in the midst of a mystery beyond all comprehension. Okay? And that may play with us, and we want to go and say, no, I have to conquer, I have to do this. No. But what if you sit in that stillness and begin to recognize that, this is all I really have, is this moment. And humans, we're interdependent human beings. We actually need to find human beings that we can build a community with and actually use that as the ground of our being. It's not about being the cool, being in the country code set and stuff like that. No, it's a group of people that truly share concern for one another. What if we were to develop that? And what if we were to say, something, what is it I really need to do? What if you decided what I really need to do is to reorganize myself so that I can become a conduit for whatever this goodwill is that's coming down, raining upon us and working through us, so that it could get into the world. Yeah, and to touch people. You can do that almost all the time. If you truly get into a compassionate state of mind and you walk down a sidewalk, they will feel your energy. Okay? People will turn, not necessarily to look at you, but there's something calling them out. And what if you come to the moment of where you have actually come to the moment where you know that you're inherently worthy? It's not the stuff you buy. It's not the power that you have. It's not the toys you have. It is that you were born inherently worthy. Okay? You were born that way. All you're doing is learning how to awaken that and to see that you got conditioned in a competitive society. You grew up in a family that was broken like the rest of us, and you adapt to it. And suddenly you're seeking significance. You're seeking to prove yourself. You're trying to prove that you're not a loser for sure, and that you have power. But what happens if you discover that the power is not really about conquering out there? The power is about conquering yourself, mastering the self, and beginning to take this odd experiment called a human being that still has a mammalian brain. We're 98% same genetics as chimpanzee, yet there is something so much more about us. The truth is we can become the people that become masters of our own destiny. What if you were to develop that as a way of proving the self, of showing that this is what I already am? It's not something that I'm different from anybody else. The difference is that I've woken up to it, and I see it, and I don't need all those things. What I need is to be connected to life, to be able to see creation and recognize that, something, no matter how you define creation, and for me, it works through the Big Bang. And all this is happening for me is a mystery beyond my imagination. I just simply know that the winds of grace are ever present. It is we who have to lift our sails. Yeah. When we do that, what we discover is the gift of being human. It's never been about something out there, accumulating things out there. It's always been really about finding what you really are inside, about recognizing that no matter how you define this, you're either the luckiest person in the world and you've just landed in nirvana, it's just great, or you can say that, something, I am so blessed. Both apply. It could be providence. But the point is, we are born, and the reality that we're creating is observer generated. Okay? You can keep running the game of chasing the dream. You get the dopamine burst, and you have to seek more and more and more. Or you can take it another route. You can already say, you know something, I am already inherently worthy. There's really nothing to prove. All I have to do is to wake up to it and to be alive with it. Friends, that's really possible. You can open up, find that inherent worth, start using that as the ground to your being. And suddenly what will happen is you'll start finding your purpose in being, your purpose in living. And what you will discover, it will be about serving people. Not making money off of them necessarily, but there again, if you're serving people and if you're in a capitalistic society, you better make some money or you won't be able to serve your market. So this is right there in front of you. So I'm asking you to consider this. Quit chasing momentary fleeting happiness and start recognizing, look in the mirror, look down your eyes and say, oh my God, the gift is there. The divine is already living within me. It is me who has to awaken that part of myself, to feed it, to grow it, so that I can truly become that authentic self that I am. I invite you, friends, start really exploring. Look at more of the videos, get to my book, and really start digging in and saying, golly, man, you mean I'm inventing this reality? Yeah. You're not accumulating things, you're inventing the world. Come and join us. And thank you. Have a great life.